And welcome along. This is Virtual Farmer, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Risoux Forest. This is, as the map name suggests, very much a forestry map. It has been released for PC, Mac, Xbox and PlayStation, and it's quite a lot of detail in what I've seen so far. We've got an animal area here. I'm just sort of wandering my way through because we've got a car in here somewhere. We've got the shop over here. We've got a load of forestry equipment you start with here. This is a nice set of equipment right there. I think our car is in this garage here. Yep, that's exactly where it is. And yeah, we're going to be using the truck that you start with on here to have a look around this map. Before we have a drive around though, let's have a quick look at the PDA. And as you can see from the PDA, very much a forestry map. We've got 100 areas here. The listing on the mod hub actually says 19 fields and 70 wooded plots, which would make 99 areas. But we definitely have an area 100 down the bottom here. So I don't know what the extra plot is. That isn't detailed. There's one water source, which I think must be this river up the top here, maybe. And yeah, it's got AI networks on all the tracks and things. I think the green lines on here are the tracks. We've got, I think, a warehouse up that way, possibly. We've got a bit down here. So we're gonna have a drive around all of this forest and try and find our way as best we can. Hopefully staying on the paths and not getting too lost. Most expensive area that I found was Farmland 48 at 234,870, while the cheapest I found was actually Farmland 100 at just 14,364. With that variety of woodland on here, this is a cracking start from scratch forestry map. Absolutely fantastic. To be able to come on here with under 500,000 and buy a piece of land for under 20,000 and build up from there. This actually would be a brilliant start from nothing forestry map. You could come in here with very little, do a couple of contracts because it does have some fields, and we have forestry contracts. Buy a forestry area and build up from there. Really good for that. I think this is going to be. So we will go around. We will have a look at that. You start with area 60 and area 62. Are the two areas that you own when you start on here, when you're doing new farmer. So that's a nice pair of areas there, and not too expensive. So yeah, you're not starting with the world either. Yeah, looking very nice. We will have a quick look at the productions, and the only production that is available on here is a sawmill. And you've got no other production chains. In all honesty, for a forestry map like this, kind of didn't expect there to be much more than just this. And in fact, the listing on the mod hub says that. I think I would have liked to have seen some productions for wood products on here. That would have been really good. They do exist. There are some in the base game. And this being a European map would have fit with some of them really nicely. So it is a pity. I do keep going on about production chains, and I want to see more production chains in maps. But yeah, this one only has a sawmill. I kind of wish it had stuff for these wood products to go further. But no, currently not a thing on here. So we're going to have a drive around, and we're going to look at this map and see exactly what this map has. So start up our truck, into gear, And away we go. I need to zoom out of this. Right, so the roadway out of here does go up into the mountains, which was that way that we went. But I don't think there is anything up that way for us. So I am going to head out and we're going to head north of here. I think a lot of this is going to look fairly similar, although there's a lot of mystery and a lot of interesting things written on the description for this map. So, Ferme, Robert, Maison Michand, and the Gros Sapot. Interesting. So apparently there's a lot hidden in this map. A lot of log cabins. The search stuff is for for mushrooms. Yeah, it's a very interesting map. I need to go and have a look under the forestry areas. The rendering, I don't think, is doing this very much a very good. Oh wow. That is, so it's interesting. It's sort of a clovery justice, and I don't think the rendering was doing it much justice, but I am slightly surprised by the forestry ground. The forestry ground is very uniform, but isn't just grass. It's a lot of clover by the looks of things, which is very it's a little bit odd to me. I don't know whether this, as far as I know, this isn't built on a real location, but it's a little bit strange in that there's all this foliage and everything at the side here, and then there's sort of a line where it disappears, and we suddenly get a very sparse underbrush, which is, I'm not sure. It's kind of a lack of detail, and that's a little bit disconcerting. I would have liked there to be more detail in the forestry underbrush, because there's a lot of detail elsewhere on this map, and to have a map that is so heavily forest, to then not put the detail in underneath in the underbrush is a bit strange. It's got some very sparse bushes around. There are some trees sort of laying there in them, but it's all very samey across the whole thing, and to me the forest should be much more detailed than it is underneath. It just, at the moment, it kind of looks like a grass area, which it's not, because as we've established, the grass area looks very different. But it's, yeah, it seems to have these very detailed borders, and then just fades into nothingness under the trees themselves. I mean, there are bits there. There are various plants and things that have been put occasionally. Maybe I just got a bad area. Yeah. Okay. This is a bit more like it. We've got a river here, and we've got a lot of detail around the river. And this is what I thought might be the water source, which is really nice. I mean, that's a gorgeous bit of detail. But you step away from it, and again, you just get this green area that doesn't have a lot of variation to it. And I would expect there to be, we've had plenty of maps where we've had more variation under the trees than this, and I don't think you'd have massive this massive under carpet of just clover here everywhere. Interestingly, it's a weird one, this. I kind of expected there to be a bit more detail under the trees on a map that has detail pretty much everywhere else. That's the mad thing. This is our water source, I think. Yeah, this is our water source right here. And we do have a random person walking through the forest. So it's not completely unpopulated, this place either. There are people walking about and people in various places. This is the edge of the map. So we want to turn around and go back. And do you know what? That did creep up on me. I did not think I was coming to the edge of the map. So I'm going to have to go back on myself because where I wanted to go is actually the other direction. I am glad we came up here and found the water source, and that there leads us back to where we came from before. So that leads us back to the initial start point. And we head up this way this time. This should lead us more where we want to go. Yeah, we're going to head towards Robert up this way. And just see where it leads us. I can see how the description for this says you can get lost. You absolutely can get lost in this forest. But it's... Oh, I'm slightly disappointed by the underbrush. The rest of it is really nice. The rest of this map is absolutely fantastic. It's got such an interesting idea behind it that I like a lot. I like so much. Right, so this appears to be a sell point. Yeah, very cool looking sell point in the middle of nowhere up here. We've got some basic fields here. These aren't owned by anybody. I don't think you can even harvest these. So yeah, that's good. That's nice. I don't know if that is built for this. I kind of think this might be built for this. Looking at that, and then yeah, we'll just continue on. It's very similar, and you can just see it by driving through here. There is not a lot of variation under the trees. There's a huge amount of variation around the sides of the roads. There's a massive amount, but there's no forestry undercover, which is odd on a map like this. I would expect a bit more variation and a bit more feeling like it is the underside of a bit more feeling like it is a forest rather than kind of what we've got, which is very plain under the trees. The roadways are gorgeous. There's so much work gone into detailing the sides of the roads and everything. That looks really cool, and I really like it, and I love the detail at the start, and I'm intrigued by the mysteries and things that are on this map. Those I think are really cool as well. That has just taken me in a big circle, interestingly. So I don't know how we get onto the roadways down the far side. I will say one of the issues I have got with this is that I'm here, I'm heading back this way, so I did a big circle. We must have come down the bottom there and taken a left. Trying to see where you're going on this PDA, green lines on a green map are just not good at all. That is just it is almost impossible to see where the roads are on this PDA. In fact, initially, I didn't think there were roads on this PDA. I didn't think they were marked at all. And it wasn't until I looked a lot closer that I realized that there are roads on here. Roads that are marked on it. So it's... I'm not a huge fan of this PDA. I think... Unless the whole idea of the PDA is to make things harder and make things more mysterious, then I'm not sure about this, because I know I've just passed a roadway, yeah, which is that one there. Yeah, that is if you're trying to navigate on here, yes, it has got the AI network built into it, which is great. I love seeing that with maps. Please, more of that. That is fantastic. But at the same time as well, I want to be able to navigate around here. And at the moment, I'm having to have the big map up to give myself a general idea of where I am. I still cannot tell where the roads are that I'm going to be following here, and if the road I take is a left or a right, you know, is that going to take me in the right direction, which is is not great. I'm still driving around and seeing the same thing with the forest underbrush. It is almost monolithic, to be honest. And it seems to have dividing areas. It seems to get this massive amount of underbrush to divide between farmlands. Which, nice idea, but I think there could have been a way of doing that that's less, that looks less like that's what it's trying to do. Right, we do have another area over here. I mean, this roads detailing is really cool. I very much like the work that's gone in on creating these roads. That is fantastic. They are really, really interesting tracks through this forest. What we got here? This is the Maison Michaud, which same building as we had at the last one. This is another sell point by the looks of things. Yep, round the back here. And yeah, looking good. Again, sort of in the middle of nowhere, as you'd expect on this map. Same French looking building in the place where, you know, it is a French map, so it's not out of place, but it does have no variation to it. And then this is the thing with this is interesting. Both of these places would have possibly been a good way, a good place to have put something that did some construction with the wood, that, you know, made furniture or made barrels or anything like that. Would have been a really good thing to have had at these sell points at the far ends, because this isn't a farming map, and while having a couple of sell points is nice, it would have been really nice to have had something that would, you basically had to transport your wood products through this map, deliver them, and then bring them back to the sell point at the main area where the farm and everything's based. That would have been really cool, and would have made for exploration of the map and things like that. So I'm a little disappointed to see that we've got just a couple of sell points that are very similar deep in the forest for a map that very much talks about it being an enigma and a shadow and things like that. It's not giving off those vibes at the moment, unfortunately. I really wish it did, because the whole idea behind this map sounds intriguing. Do have something up here. Oh, this is the sawmill. I thought the sawmill was back at our main start point, but it isn't. This is the sawmill up here. So I do like that this is placed round this side here. Let's get the big map off. It's blocking way too much of the screen, but it was very needed for getting here. And yeah, sawmill is a standard base game sawmill, but I do like it. I like its positioning. This works well. Very happy with this. And yeah, this is the only production in the map. It is good. It is placed nicely. You have to transport your stuff there. Really liking that. If we come back over this way and continue on, I hope this might take me back to my back to the start point. Yeah, again, just giving a look to the side there. It's really strange that clovery bottom that's just sort of everywhere on this map. Really is. It does give this very repetitive, very samey look. And I think that actually here is a good example of what I'm talking about. So we have area of trees here where this lot is in the sunshine. And then we come into here where there's lots of places where sunshine doesn't get. And there's no variation between the two. There's no bare patches. There's no there's no larger, well, there's a few larger items like this, but even there, if I'm walking through here, the vast majority of the plants in here are the same plants. There's a couple of smaller ones, but there is more variety. If I go into the build menu here and we go and have a look at the plants, there is more variety in the plants. I'm trying to tell. I can't tell because I don't own the land. But yeah, you see there's a lot more variety in just the base game plants that are in here. So it is a lack of detail under the trees and under the canopy that concerns me on here. And it does spoil the map a little bit for me. It really does, and you can tell because it's probably the thing that I've mentioned the most. Everything else on here is really nice. For the most part, it is just that lack of detail that exists everywhere else. Having said that, it is a great looking start from nothing map. I mean, it does look really nice in all of the areas like this. It's really nice. I mean, I love the detail on the ground here. Where in this area, this is a new area of land with new textures and everything like that, and it's just looks great. I think this is a new custom texture for this map that looks fantastic. And in these areas here, it's brilliant. I think though, if you start working the forest areas, it's gonna get very samey very quickly, and that I think is a shame. I think it's something that is unfortunate on a map like this, where forestry is going to be a big thing, and you're gonna spend a lot of time in these forestry areas. To not have so much detail in them is yeah, disappointing. Anyway, let's have a look at our starting equipment that's on this map. And it's not a lot of stuff. And for once, yeah, we did not add the international. So you do start this with a truck. You also have a John Deere 843L-2, a John Deere 9R410, tractor, a Komatsu 951 forestry harvester, a Ponzi Bison active frame logging forwarder, a TMC Cancella TFR 250 mulcher, and a Tajifun EGV 65 AKHSG forestry blade. So yeah, nice set of equipment. There's quite a bit of power here. I think I would consider maybe some smaller stuff. I think I would consider actually bringing in and having as required mods some of the stuff that we had on Silver Run and that we have and we're using on Silver Run, just to give this a lower start point. Having said that, yeah, this seems to be a pretty good set of equipment to start with. No issues there. Age is all 1 month. Working hours is pretty negligible. In fact, working hours is all 0. I've driven this round, so that's why we've got working hours on the international. And condition is all 100%. So you're not starting with any hours on the equipment, unfortunately. I would have liked that. I think that would have been very good. But yeah, so it's a good forestry map. I think it lacks some detail in places, but the places where it does have detail, the detail is fantastic. I really like the detail that's here, and the places where the detail has been really applied. It looks amazing. It looks really good. It is just the only thing for me is the underbrush in the forest seems to have not had the same level of detail applied, which is a pity. If you are looking for a forestry map, though, that you can do single player, or you are looking to do start from nothing, I think this map is fantastic for that. I think that would work really well that way. Also, I think it's probably a good map. Most forestry maps are good for multiplayer as well, for having a forestry setup and working together. And I think this is no exception. I think this works well for that. But the only other thing that this suffers from is a lack of productions with what to do with the wood once you've got it through the sawmill. Would like to have seen that a bit. I don't think this is a heavy farming map. There are fields and there are contracts that will get you started, which is great. But yeah, this is great for forestry. But as always, tell me what you think down in the comments below. Do you think I've got it right this time, or do you think that a bit harsh on the underbrush and the detail is all fine? And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. Huge thank you as well to all of my patrons and channel members. These videos are only made possible thanks to your support. If you want more from Virtual Farmer, please check out the videos on screen now, or subscribe for more. And I will see you next time.